Hey everybody, what's going on? Goofy Rexy here. Hope everybody is doing well and wanted to do a quick sort of update, an overview video of the War Scourge event here and talk about the best teams for that War Scourge event. That's going to be starting here on the 12th. So that's literally a day from now when you're watching this video. So hopefully this kind of helps you figure out what team combinations you can use here. Going to be going through all the sections just to kind of remind you a little bit here. Did have this infographic that was in one of my older videos. I wasn't able to really kind of blow it up and show it to you, but hopefully you can kind of see it here. If not, I'll talk about it really quickly. So the first two nodes, you're going to need bio characters for nodes 3 and 4. For difficulty 4 and higher, you're going to need Avengers. Then for nodes 5, you're going to use either your Hero as Guardian, your Wave 1 Avengers, or your Ravagers. Nodes 6 and 7, that's where you're going to need your villain teams. And then node 8 and 9, you're going to need your skill teams. And then back to node 10 again, that is where you are going to need your Hero as Guardian, your Wave 1 Avengers, or your Ravagers in order to be able to do to be able to get through those nodes here. So wanted to talk about some of the best teams that you could use here. We're going to start off first with the bio section. So obviously, like if you have the Gamma team, then this is kind of like easy peasy, right? So if you've already gone through this and you already have Red Hulk, and you have the full Gamma team, then yes, that is definitely going to be probably an optimal team for you to be able to use. It gets through the event very easily. They are absolutely the best team for the War Scourge event. However, if you do not have the full Gamma team, what are you going to do? Now, we're going to talk about some different sort of comps and variations and things here that could work. But may make some of the other notes for you a little bit challenging, right? So I did come up with this team gear, which has a sort of a combination of some Web Warrior characters, and I also threw in Phyla-Vell here and in Spider-Man 2099. The reason why I threw in Phyla-Vell in this mishmash is because this team, or the Web Warriors in general, typically don't tend to have very good cleanse. Neither does Spider-Man 2099. So I kind of threw in Phyla-Vell here to be able to give this team some options of being able to get at least to clear some negative effects that get thrown on them, because there's some of these characters in these nodes really have some typically very heavy debuffs. So you kind of want to work around that a little bit here. But I will say this, I'm not a super fan right now of the Web Warriors, because the Web Warriors they're getting kicked out, right? So probably won't even talk about this team the next time this War Scourge event comes around, because listen, they're just probably not, it doesn't make sense for you to invest into them as much anymore. Yes, you do have the Pestilence Scourge event, but depending on how high you want to go in the Pestilence Scourge event, may not be that relevant to you. So invest sparingly into the Web Warrior characters. But if you were to invest into any Web Warrior characters, I will go with these three. Spider-Man Miles, because you can then team up, you can probably slot him into a Young Avengers team at some point in time later on down the road. Spider-Man, I think, is a decent enough sort of like plug and play character, and I like Ghost Spider as well because of some of the like the ability block and things like that she has in her kit, the ability to be able to spread debuffs with her ultimate, things like that I think are good and valuable. And Spider-Man 2099 is a arena character, so you're gonna get a ton of value there. But some other comps that could work in this situation, although I am going to say this will probably hurt you for some of the future notes for bio, but we'll still talk about it here. So I do like Squirrel Girl, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, JJ, and then also Spider-Woman, and I'll talk about the reason why. So one of the best characters in the game, I think, in general, is Squirrel Girl, mainly because of her cleanse ability with that special. Once again, a lot of these bio nodes have some pretty heavy debuffs that you're going to have to deal with, and having her there to be a cleanse, I think, could be really useful, right? So you smushing her in between two characters that can gain taunt. Whenever she does get hit and gets below a certain percentage of health, she's going to be able to fill her speed bar, being able to get to her special a little bit faster. And also, if any other Young Avenger character gets below 50%, or gets, I think it's 70%, I'm forgetting the percentages of health here, then you're going to be able to get that speed bar, and then once again be able to get her to her special faster so that she can go through and give that cleanse. And of course, Miss Marvel being here, you'll be able to get the assist from these characters. But then also Spider-Woman, oh, never mind, I thought Spider-Woman had the brawler tag, so I misinterpreted that one. But you'll still be able to get some. Spider-Woman is used can be used in another one of these Scourge events for Rogue, where you can use A-Force characters. Although they are not the best team, there is some value that I think she can provide individually here with her kit. You get a turn 1 ability block from her. There's some heal blocks. There's offense down as well. Ultimate ability can do additional damage based on positive effects. She also flips positive effects as well into negative effects. Her basic can also land a couple defense downs here, so that could definitely be helpful in some of these matchups. She is squishy, but once again, considering that you'll have a character like Squirrel Girl here, you can kind of save face. And then with JJ, you can use her cleanse ability. I think she's a good battery, right? She gives ability energy. She can also cleanse negative effects too. So that's kind of the reason why I put together this comp here. That could potentially work for some of these notes, although not ideal. Could work, but once again, this is kind of dicey because Squirrel Girl and Miss Marvel, you're probably going to want to use them for some of the later nodes and their content here. Now, let's talk about some of those later nodes. For your nodes 3 and 4, you're going to want to use Avenger characters. So for those Avengers, the Bionic Avenger team can actually clear nodes 3 and 4. Depending on what scourges you put on, they can actually clear it fairly easily. The more scourges you equip, then of course it's going to be a little bit more challenging at that point. But the Bionic Avengers team can definitely get through 3 and 4. I will say this though, the full Young Avengers team is actually better in node 4 because you do face that Gamma team in node 4. So they actually serve a little bit better than the Bionic Avengers in that node, especially when you start equipping certain scourges. You're definitely probably going to be better off using the Young Avengers team, especially in that node 4. They as well can also clear nodes 3 and 4. But if you're not doing super high difficulties, then that's kind of one of the things, again, like being able to use Young Avengers may not be an option if you have to use some of the characters in your bio section. That may be a little challenging for you, but if you're not going to be doing too high difficulty here, then you maybe not need to use the Young Avengers team. And then maybe, of course, you can use Squirrel Girl, Miss Marvel for your bio section, which actually may make it a little bit easier of a time for you there as well. All right, and then we're gonna go to like node 5 where there's gonna be a little bit of a debate here in regards to what you can use, right? So yes, it's Hero Asgardians, Wave 1 Avengers, or the Ravagers team, right? So obviously a lot of players before, what I did is that I used my Hero Asgardian team. You can see here they're close to about 800k. There really hasn't been much change in their power level since then. Maybe some additional red stars I might have pulled on a character or two, but I think this is pretty much basically where they have been at since I did the event and up till now at this point. This definitely was by far the better team out of all the other options here for your node 5, and then also your node 10. However, though, players are asking the question, well, can I just use my Wave 1 Avengers team to be able to get through it? Because I have Iron Man. Iron Man has gotten a rework to be a part of the Bionic Avengers team. Cap now has had a rework to be a part of the Rebirth team. So you can see him, I actually did slot him in as an option for sort of like your end slot here with Sif, where they can both gain time. The only thing for me, like I do think Wave 1 Avengers can be an option for you, and that may be more of an optimal build to build Iron Man, to build Captain America, to build Thor, and then use Hulk, right? That are part of the Wave 1 Avengers team. And then maybe you throw in like Sif, or maybe probably Mighty Thor, because Mighty Thor does help Thor to get those additional charges a little bit faster. Those are options that you do have available to you. But if you're going to be pushing for these optimal runs, you're most likely going to want to use a full Hero Asgardian team in order to be able to do so. So the Wave 1, and that kind of eliminates you being able to use your Wave 1, because you're going to want to use your Iron Man with Bionic Avengers. You're going to want to use your Hulk with your Gamma team. So it kind of does complicate things a little bit here, right? So the only character that really is super flexible in this situation is Captain America, right? So that's really kind of your best bet, in my opinion, as far as this is concerned. So if you're pushing for high scores, you're probably still going to want to use Hero Asgardians. If not, you can use Wave 1 Avengers. You can use a variation of the Hero Asgardian team with Cap. I do want to say this, like, you definitely probably still want to keep Mighty Thor on a team with Cap, because she helps him to get his charters, right? At the end of any turn, no, that's not it. When this character or a hero Asgardian attacks an enemy, apply 1 charge, right? So the more hero Asgardian characters that you have around, then the more charges that Thor is going to be able to get faster. And from the last time when we did these Scourge events, Thor gaining charges was the reason why those nodes were so easy, because he kept on gaining those full 5 charges often, because whenever hero Asgardians got hit or whenever hero Asgardian took a turn, he constantly kept on getting those charges and constantly kept on doing additional damage. So that is something to consider if you are also choosing to go with Wave 1 Avengers. Thor may not be as effective as he would be with the full hero Asgardian team. And then apart from that, guys, like, you know, the 2 villains nodes, the next sections are the villains nodes. There's some easy comps that you can get there. There's obviously the most optimal team is going to be using like Morgan, Agatha, Strange Heartless. You can probably even take him out and use somebody else there, maybe Doom, Omega Red, Dormammu, right? Like that's like the sexiest option that's there. But then you also have other options too, like the full Dead Sea team, minus of course Psylocke because she's not a villain. You can use Emma there to kind of slot in. She does. Well, it's only in Alliance War, right? I think where she's benefiting mutant villain characters, but still that negative 10% speed to all enemies, I think is still a pretty big deal. And you know, being able to get them to go faster, I think is going to be good. Nemesis, Dark Beast still work pretty well outside of raid content. I've done some Dark Dimension 5 content with them, and they've done really well. Archangel with the rest of his team, or with the other members that are part of his team, does pretty well too. There's also like, you know, the Undying team with Hela and Zombie Iron Man, and I just threw in other Weapon X characters that are here, but really you can find some other comps that could work as well. There is Kingpin and then Zemo, but I honestly feel like you're going to need those 2 characters in the skill section, because one of the toughest sections in this Scourge event is actually the skill nodes that we're going to actually talk about right now, which actually comes up right after your villains nodes. So after your villains nodes, you're going to be running into the skill section right here. And yes, the Secret Avenger team is probably going to be the most optimal, the best team at some of the lower levels. But once you start equipping some of those Scourges, these nodes become significantly harder. So what I actually found the last time is that I swapped out a couple of times. I think I swapped out Maria Hill and I threw in Zemo for maybe that second node. Now we have Kingpin, right? And Kingpin can help out with the bodyguards to throw out some other targets for the enemy team. Also, you have the ability as well to apply offense up and defense up and things like that. So therefore, I do think that Kingpin probably will come into play here in some of these nodes or some of those skill sections. We're gonna have to test it out because we did not have Kingpin available to us, or he didn't have his rework live at that particular time. So therefore, we're gonna have to take a look now when we're kind of going into these nodes. I'm building up my Kingpin at the moment, probably gonna have him at 85 and gear tier 15 by the time this event does go live. I have him at 81 right now, so we'll be able to test that out a little bit here and kind of provide a little bit more information where that is concerned. So that is it, I'm thinking, for these nodes. And then of course, like the last node, node 10 here, you kind of finish that up with your hero Asgardian team or whatever team that you used in node 5. Also, quick thing that I forgot to mention on node 5 as well is for that first node, if you are going to be using your full hero Asgardian team, there was a little bit of a trick taking out Heimdall in that first node and then using Star-Lord T'Challa against Omega Red to blind him and to steal the ability energy so that you would not get ability blocked by Omega Red on turn 1. That is a trick. Also, I will say this, node 10 is going to be very difficult and challenging if you do not have the hero Asgardian team with Heimdall, because there's a vision that's there with some of the blinds. You kind of need Heimdall there to be able to prevent those characters from being affected by those blinds. So that's something to definitely consider in that last node as well. So that's going to be it, guys. Hopefully this was helpful information for you here. I know I went through it pretty fast. I didn't want to make this too long of a video here. So of course, ask questions if you do have anything, I definitely would be happy to help. But appreciate you watching the video, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Hit that notification bell so that you know when my videos do go live. Check out the links that are down below in the description. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on I actually do have an Instagram now, so I'll actually share that as well down below. But Discord, all that as well, guys. Until next time, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe.